We often reach for a drink to quiet our racing thoughts, but the very substance we use to calm our minds is actively rewiring our brains to generate more anxiety. That first sip brings a rush of immediate relief. Beneath that surface-level relaxation, though, a slow accumulation of biological harm is taking place. To actually break this cycle of stress and anxiety, we have to look closely at the hidden chemical mechanisms driving it. Roughly 63% of Americans drink alcohol. Many rely on it specifically to numb the exhaustion of a long workday or ease the tension of social situations. But a glass of wine or a beer doesn't treat the root causes of distress. It acts as a temporary band-aid, hiding the symptoms for a few hours without solving the underlying problem. Looking at this mass of 63% of the population against the fleeting timeline of a drink's effects, a biological trap emerges. The perceived cure is silently manufacturing the exact distress it claims to treat. To see how this trap works, we have to examine neurotransmitters. These are the chemical messengers in your brain responsible for transmitting signals that control your emotions and energy levels. The moment you consume alcohol, it disrupts these delicate chemical balances. First, alcohol suppresses glutamate. Glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter that triggers brain activity. By inhibiting it, alcohol artificially slows down your racing thoughts and dulls your memory functions. At the exact same time, it ramps up the production of gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA. This is an inhibitory neurotransmitter that reduces your overall energy levels and plunges the brain into a state of heavy sedation. Finally, the brain is flooded with dopamine. This is the feel-good chemical that signals pleasure and enjoyment, creating the highly rewarding sensation you get from that first drink. This simultaneous, three-pronged chemical hijacking is what manufactures a powerful, yet entirely artificial, illusion of true relaxation. But as the alcohol wears off, the brain's artificially high dopamine levels suffer a severe, rapid crash. The pleasure simply drops out. Beyond the dopamine crash, alcohol also actively depletes your brain's serotonin. Serotonin is a critical neurotransmitter that regulates and stabilizes your baseline mood over time. Because of these sudden chemical deficits, you are left feeling significantly more anxious, stressed, and emotionally depleted than you were before you even took a sip. To fix this newly created chemical deficit, the brain naturally demands another drink to artificially boost those levels again, instantly restarting the process. Relying on the exact substance that caused your chemical deficit to cure it guarantees a continuous worsening of your overall mental health. Over time, these chemical hangovers compound into physical changes. Heavy, frequent drinking actively alters the physical structure of the brain itself. Brain imaging shows excessive alcohol use creates anomalies within the amygdala, the brain's primary threat detection center, forcing it into a constant, hyperreactive state. With a damaged amygdala, an individual loses their natural, sober ability to handle normal, everyday stressors in a healthy way. This chart shows the risk of major depressive disorder based on alcohol dependence. The data reveals that individuals with alcohol dependence are 3.7 times more likely to develop major depressive disorders compared to the baseline population. This compromised biological state also lowers a person's physical inhibitions, significantly increasing the risk of severe outcomes like psychosis, non-suicidal self-injury, and suicide. The long-term cost of temporary sedation is the persistent amplification of the exact anxiety the user was desperately trying to escape. The human brain, however, is incredibly resilient. Simply removing alcohol allows your serotonin levels to stabilize and gives your amygdala the space it needs to naturally heal. You can replace the chemical surge of a drink with physical exercise. Working out releases real, sustainable endorphins that lift your mood without a devastating chemical rebound later. Getting 7 or more hours of sleep, a process that alcohol actively disrupts, is absolutely critical. Sleep allows the brain to complete the specific cycles necessary to restore emotional regulation. Practicing mindfulness helps the brain ignore negative stress sensations, while eating a balanced diet rich in essential nutrients actively rebuilds your baseline resilience against intrusive thoughts. Breaking the alcohol loop removes a major biological barrier to wellness, allowing you to build the sustainable, natural coping mechanisms needed to find lasting peace.